welcome to this tutorial to accompany week 1 of my picnic on the beach blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket can be found over on my website www.coastalcrochet.com. So it's the rounds in the stone coloured yarn that are our Basketweave rounds, and these are 6 rounds in total. So when you're looking at the picnic on the beach blanket pattern, this is round 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 rounds in total of this really gorgeous textured Basketweave stitch. And I think it was pretty essential to have these stitches in our picnic on the beach blanket. They really do resemble the perfect wicker picnic basket. So a couple of things before we get started. Firstly, this tutorial is not to replace the written pattern. You will need to have a copy of the picnic on the beach blanket pattern with you whilst we work through this tutorial. And once you get the hang of the basket weave stitches, they're a combination of raised treble front and raised treble back stitches. In the US, that's your front post and back post double crochet stitches. It's pretty straightforward. What is a little bit trickier, and this is why I've done the tutorial, is the starts and the ends of each round. Because we're working in the round, on each round we're increasing the number of stitches we have. So we have a lot more stitches by the end of round 12 than what we started on at the beginning of round 7. And so it's how we start and end each round that does change each time, and that's covered in this tutorial. But like I said, it's not to replace the written pattern, so do have the written pattern to hand. Remember also that I use UK crochet terminology, but of course I do always try to translate as we go. So I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Let's get started. So with the right side of the work facing you, insert your hook into any corner chain space and then join with yarn G. Pull the yarn through like so, and then you simply make 2 chain, 1, 2, and that counts as the first half treble or US half double crochet stitch of this round. And so now we're going to go straight into our basket weave stitches, and these stitches are made up of raised stitches. In the US, that's called front post or back post stitches. And what that means is that instead of inserting your hook into the stitches, as you normally would, when you're doing raised stitches or front post, back post stitches, you're simply inserting your hook around the post of the stitches, like so. So if you actually really look at the stitches, don't ever be afraid to pull your work apart. You can see there's a stitch very clearly there. Instead of going into the stitch at the top, you just insert your hook around the post of the stitch. This is a raised front stitch, or in the US, a front post stitch, because you're bringing the post of that stitch to the front, and you're inserting your hook from the front to the back, round to the front again. You also have raised back stitches. That's back post stitches in the US, and the only difference here is that you then insert your hook from the back to the front and round to the back again, pushing the post of that stitch to the back of the work. So that's what raised stitches are, and by combining the front raised stitches with the back raised stitches, you get the textured basket weave effect. So let's show you what I mean. So we're going to begin with 1 raised treble front around each of the next 3 stitches. In the US, that's 3 front post double crochet stitches. So wrap your yarn around the hook as you normally would for a treble US double crochet stitch. And now for a raised treble front or a front post double crochet, we insert our hook from the front to the back, round to the front again, around the post of that stitch. And then just complete your treble US double crochet stitch as normal. Yarn over hook, put it through round the post of that stitch to the front, so you've got your 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we'll repeat that because we're doing 3 of these stitches. So yarn over hook, insert your hook around the post of the stitch from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over hook, pull the yarn round the post of that stitch to the front, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through 2. One more of these, yarn over hook, insert your hook from the front to the back, round to the front again around the post of that stitch, yarn over hook, bring it through to the front of the work, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through 2. And so there you can see we've made 3 raised treble front stitches. In the US, that's your front post double crochets. And what it's done is it's pushed the stitches through to the front to give it that lovely texture. Now, to create the basket weave, we need to do some raised back stitches. That's the back post stitches in the US. So again, we're going to do ordinary treble US double crochet stitches, but we're going to go around the post of these stitches, inserting our hook from the back to the front and round to the back again. So yarn over hook, as you would for a normal treble US double crochet. There's the next stitch we need to crochet around. Instead of going into the stitch as you normally would, put your hook to the back of the work and then go from the back to the front, round to the back again, around the post of that stitch. So you can see there the stitch is being pushed to the back. Yarn over hook, draw it round the post of that stitch like so. So you then have your 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We do another one of those. So yarn over hook, insert your hook from the back to the front, round to the back again, yarn over hook, pull that stitch all the way through. So you've got 3 loops on the hook there, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through 2. One more of those, yarn over hook, insert your hook from the back to the front, round to the back again, yarn over hook, draw that loop through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now you can see we've worked 3 of the raised treble back stitches. That's the back post double crochet, and what it's done is it's pushed those stitches to the back of the work, creating this lovely textured effect. And so now we're simply going to repeat that. We're going to do a repeat of 3 of the front raised stitches and 3 of the back raised stitches, and do that 4 times in total. So now it's going to be 1 raised treble front or 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, and you can see very clearly which of the 3 stitches we've gone around. So the next stitch to go around is this one here. So now it's front raised stitches, so yarn over hook and then insert your hook from the front to the back, round to the front again, yarn over hook, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 2 more of those. There we go. And now we're going to do 1 raised treble back around each of the next 3 stitches. That's your back post double crochet. So yarn over hook, insert your hook from the back to the front, round to the back again, yarn over hook, draw through, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through 2. So you've got 2 more of these to do. That's 1 more, and there we go. So now you can really see the texture coming through. You've got your 3 front raised stitches, your 3 back raised stitches, your 3 front and your 3 back, and by alternating them as you go along you get some lovely texture. So repeat this 4 times in total, so 1, 2, so we've got 2 more sets to do. I'm just on the final repeat, the last of the raised treble back or the back post double crochet in the US, and there we go. So as you can see now we've done 4 sets. We've got 1 set, 2 set, 3 and 4, so looking really lovely. Now because this is on our picnic on the beach blanket and we want this side to be symmetrical, what we're going to do now is we're going to do 4 of these raised stitches going across the middle part of the side. So all that means is we're doing exactly the same, but we're just doing 4 raised treble front stitches. Okay, so 1 raised treble front or 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches, and that will just bring symmetry to our side. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. So we've got 4 of the raised stitches going across the middle of the side. And now we simply do 1 raised treble back or 1 back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. So insert your hook from back to front, round to the back again, yarn over, draw the loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, do 3 of these in total, 2, and then 3, and then we do 3 of the front raised treble front stitches, the front post double crochet in the US. That's where you insert your hook from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and do 3 of these. And then you can see we're continuing with that lovely texture. So do 3 more sets of 3 back and 3 front, and then we'll be at the end of the side. So I'm just coming to the end of the side. I've just got 3 of the raised treble front stitches to do. That's the front post double crochet in the US. And then when we are at the end of the side, all we do is in the corner chain space, we simply work 1 half treble, that's a US half double crochet, 2 chain, and then another half treble, US half double crochet. Then if you look back along the side, you can really see that lovely texture beginning to be made. And by carrying on, I'll show you with the next rounds, what happens is you get, by alternating these raised stitches, you really do get the basket weave effect. So now we repeat exactly what we've just done on each of the next 3 sides. So I'm just coming to the end of the final side. I've gone all the way around, and I've just got 1 more raised treble front post double crochet to do around this very final stitch. And then we're back at the starting corner chain space where we began, and into there we simply work 1 half treble, that's a US half double crochet, 2 chain, and then we slip stitch to the top of the first 2 chain that we made. Remember, the first 2 chain that we made, that counted as our first stitch, our first half treble US half double crochet stitch, and so we insert our hook into the top of that 2 chain and work a slip stitch to join the round. There we go. And that is the end of the first round of our basket weave stitches. So now what we do is we turn the work, because the next round, so round 8 in our picnic on the beach blanket, is going to be made with the wrong side facing us. And so to start this round, we make 2 chain. That again counts as our first half treble US half double crochet stitch, and then straight away we're at the corner. So into this corner chain space we work 1 half treble US half double crochet, 2 chain, and another half treble US half double crochet. And so we've created our first corner. And now, because obviously we're increasing the amount of stitches on each side as these rounds grow, we're going to be starting the side differently to the previous round. And so what we do now is we simply do 1 half treble US half double crochet into the first stitch of this side as you normally would. So here's the first stitch. You can see it was the half treble that we made into the corner chain space on the previous round. Insert your hook into that stitch as normal and just work 1 half treble US half double crochet. And now we're in the right place to carry on with our raised stitches. And so now we do 1 raised treble back as a back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. So just like before, around the post of that stitch, working a treble US double crochet. So that's 1 from back to front, round to the back again. That's 2, and this one here is 3. And now we do 1 raised treble front or a front post double crochet in the US around each of the next 3 stitches. Much easier to see because we've already worked in sets of 3 on the previous round. You can see the stitches very clearly that we need to match in this round. And then continue alternating as per the pattern to the end of the side, remembering that in the middle we have the 4 raised stitches, making sure that we keep all the stitches symmetrical. And so now I'm in the middle of the side, and looking at the pattern you can see that I've done the 3 raised treble back, that's the back post double crochet in the US, followed by the 3 raised treble front, that's the front post double crochet, and that combination of those 3 you do 4 times in total, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now I'm in the middle of the side, and here we're doing 1 raised treble back, that's a back post double crochet in the US, around each of the next 4 stitches. So whereas on the previous round we did these as front raised stitches, on this round we're working them as back raised stitches. That's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. So there you can see the texture at the back, and there is the texture at the front. And so now we're doing 4 sets of raised treble front stitches followed by 3 raised treble back stitches. That's the front post double crochet and then the back post double crochet, and repeat sets of those 4 times in total to the end of the side. So I'm nearly at the end of the side. I'm on my final set of 3 raised treble back stitches, or the back post double crochet. There's 1 more to do. I've just done 1, 2, 1 more, like so. So I've done 4 sets of the raised front and then raised back stitches. There's the 4 in the middle. Then we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of the 3 plus 3. And now we're at the end of the side, but there should be 1 last stitch to crochet into. Remember, we began the side with a half treble, US half double crochet stitch, and we're going to end this side. So again, don't be afraid to pull your work apart. You can see this here is the stitch we've just gone around, and so here it's not always that clear to see on the half treble US half double crochet stitches, but the final stitch of the side to crochet into is this one here, and the top of that stitch sits just to the left of it because obviously we've turned the work and now have the wrong side facing. So just insert your hook into that half treble stitch, US half double crochet, and work 1 half treble US half double crochet. And then we're at the next corner, and into that corner we work 1 half treble US half double crochet, 2 chain, and then a further half treble US half double crochet. and we're ready to go on to our next side, which is a repeat of just what we've just done. So just repeat exactly what we've done, remembering that the round begins with 1 half treble US half double crochet stitch into the first stitch of the side, like so, and now we're ready to go into our raised stitches. So I'm just on my final set of 3 raised treble back stitches, the back post double crochet. Here's my very last one for the final set on the final side, and that brings us back to the beginning of the round. And if you remember, we started this round with 2 chain. That 2 chain counted as the first half treble US half double crochet stitch, and to end this round we simply insert our hook into the top of that 2 chain, going onto 2 strands, and work a slip stitch. And there we go. That's the end of our second round, which is round 8 when you're looking at the pattern. And so now we turn the work, because going on to round 9, if you look at the pattern, we should now have the right side of the work facing us to go on to round 9. And looking at the pattern, we begin round 9 with 2 chain. Just as before, this counts as our first half treble US half double crochet stitch. And now our hook, our first stitch, is in the right place to go straight ahead with these raised stitches. So having a look at the pattern, it's now 1 raised treble back around each of the next 3 stitches. And what this is, we're doing the opposites now, because if we were now to simply keep doing front raised stitches around these and back raised stitches around these, you would simply get like a striped effect. But we want the basket weave. So to create that sort of basket weave illusion, what we're doing now on round 9 is where these are front raised stitches, you can see these stitches have been pushed to the front, we're now going to be doing a back raised stitch around them. So look at the pattern, round 9, we've done our 2 chain, and now it tells us to do 1 raised treble back as a back post double crochet in the US around each of the next 3 stitches. So that's yarn over hook, and now we go from back to front, round to the back again, and complete that treble US double crochet. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. And now you can see we've got a bit of a line going across there, and you'll see as we continue we are going to be creating that basket weave look. So now we're at the next 3 stitches, and it tells us to do 1 raised treble front, that's a front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. Never be afraid to pull your work apart. There you can see the first. Now we're going from the front to the back, round to the front again, and complete your treble US double crochet stitch as normal. 1, 2, and 3. So there we've done our 3 back stitches and 3 front stitches, and we repeat that 4 times in total, and then we'll be at the centre of the side where we do our 4 stitches again. So here I am in the centre of the side. Looking back, you can see I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of the 3 raised treble back, followed by the 3 raised treble front. And so now these 4 central stitches, if you look at round 9 on the pattern, we now do 1 raised treble back around each of the next 4 stitches. So with these central stitches, we're now going round from the back to the front and round to the back again. So 1 raised treble back, that's your back post double crochet around each of these 4 central stitches. It's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. And there you can see by alternating where we're putting these raised stitches, we now get that illusion of the woven basket weave look. You can already see it, the pattern forming. It's a really, really lovely effect. And of course, on our picnic on the beach blanket, we had to have some basket weave. So now looking at the pattern, it tells us now to do 1 raised treble front, that's a front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, 1 raised treble back, that's a back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, and do that 4 times in total. And we'll be coming up then to the end of the side. So I'm just at the end of the final repeat, just doing my last raised treble back post double crochet stitches, and there's the last one. Lovely. And when you look at the pattern, it now tells us to do 1 half treble, 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, because we still have 2 stitches to go to get to the end of the side. So here you can see is the stitch I've gone around, just gone around that one there, you can see. And so here 1, 2 are the final 2 stitches, and we just work an ordinary half treble, US half double crochet into those stitches as normal. There we go. And then into the corner chain space we do 1 half treble, US half double crochet, 2 chain, and a further half treble, US half double crochet. And now we're ready to start our next side. Now remember, on the first side we started a couple of stitches in. So if you look, here we go, we made our first 2 chain here, so we were already 2 stitches in from the corner chain space. So we start this next side, just have a look at the pattern, round 9. We start this next side with 1 half treble, that's US half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. It's the first 2 stitches of the side. So here's the first stitch, just work a half treble, US half double crochet in that one, and then also the second one as well. And now we're at the same place that we started our round. Straight away we can go now into these raised stitches. So if you look at the pattern, it tells us to repeat from star 3 times, ending final repeat at star star. So go back to where the star is, and now it's 1 raised treble back around each of the next 3 stitches. That's your back post double crochet, and then it's 3 of the front raised stitches, and so on. Repeat exactly what we've done on this first side on each of the next 3 sides. And so again, I'm on my final 3 raised stitches of the final side of round 9. So this is the 3rd raised treble back post double crochet stitch at the end of the final side. There we go. And if you look at the pattern at round 9, we still have 1 half treble, that's a US half double crochet to do in each of the final 2 stitches. So there's the stitch we've just gone around, you can see, and so there 1, 2 are the final 2 stitches. So that's 1 half treble, US half double crochet, and then 2. And then into the final corner chain space we do 1 half treble, US half double crochet, 2 chain, and then a further half treble, US half double crochet. And so now we're almost back to where we started. We started the round with a 2 chain and then went into our raised stitches, but there is 1 final stitch off the side to crochet into. So looking at the pattern, it's 1 half treble, US half double crochet into the final stitch of the round, which actually is the first stitch of the very first side. So there's the stitch, just work a half treble, US half double crochet into that stitch, and now we're back to the very beginning and we work a slip stitch into the top of the first 2 chain to join the round, remembering to go under 2 strands, which is a little bit tricky sometimes, but there you go, 2 strands, and then work a slip stitch, and that is the end of round 9. And so now to move on to round 10, we turn the work so that for round 10 the wrong side of the blanket is facing us. Looking at the pattern, we start round 10 with 2 chain. Now that 2 chain counts as the first stitch of our round. And also, because we've been increasing the amount of stitches on each side as we go, as we've been increasing, so we had more stitches at the end of round 9 than we did at the start of round 7, we now have enough stitches to make an extra set of 3 raised stitches either end of each side. So we've got an extra, we can make an extra 3 here and also an extra 3 here. So this first 2 chains does count as our first stitch of the round, and it's the first stitch in our set of 3 raised stitches. It's not a raised stitch itself, of course, it's just the 2 chain, but therefore we do have 2 raised stitches here to do. So looking at the pattern, we now do 1 raised treble back, that's a back post double crochet around each of the next 2 stitches. Now these 2 stitches are half treble stitches, so they're a bit shorter, and the post of the stitch is not as clear or as easy to see as it is with treble or US double crochet stitches. But it is there. Just pull the work apart. There's the 2 chain coming out of this stitch here. So the next stitch to go around is this one here. It's a slightly sort of shorter post. But just go around that as normal as we have been all the way around. So yarn over hook. This is now a raised treble back post double crochet. So insert our hook from the, just locate the stitch, there's the stitch, from the back to the front and round to the back again around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull the loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then here's the second stitch, so yarn over hook and then insert your hook from back to front, round to the back again and complete your raised stitch as we have done all the way around. So there we've started with 2 raised stitches. We're now at the corner chain space, and so in the corner chain space just do 1 half treble, US half double crochet, 2 chain and then a further half treble, US half double crochet. And so now we're at the start of the next side, and straight away we can do 1 raised treble back, that's 1 back post double crochet in the US around each of the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, these are the shorter half treble stitches, don't forget, so they're a little bit not as clear to see. 2, 1 more, here it is, and 3. And so now we're back at our raised stitches, which are much easier to see, much easier to get your hook around the post of those stitches. So looking at the pattern, we're now at our set of 3 plus 3, which we repeat 4 times. So it's 1 raised treble front, that's front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, and then it's 1 raised treble back post double crochet around each of the next 3, and repeat that, what's in the brackets, 4 times in total until you're at the centre of the side again. And so now I'm at the centre of the side again. If you look back, I've done the set of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you look at the front of the work, you can really see that sort of interwoven basket weave effect taking shape. And so now we're at the central 4 stitches of the side, and just like on each round we do a set of 4 here, 4 stitches, and this time in round 10 it's 1 raised treble front, that's a front post double crochet in the US around each of these central 4 stitches. 1, this is 2, 3, and then 4. And then looking at the pattern, we now do 1 raised treble back, that's a back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, followed by 1 raised treble front, that's a front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, so 3 and 3, and repeat that 4 times in total, that's 2, 3, 4, and then we'll nearly be at the end of the side with our extra set of raised stitches to crochet. I'm just on the last set of raised treble front post double crochet stitches. Here's the third one. 1, 2, 3. So there, from those central 4 stitches, I've done 1 raised treble back around each of the next 3 stitches, 1 raised treble front around each of the next 3 stitches, and I've done that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now, looking at the pattern, we still have this extra set of stitches to crochet around, which will bring us then to the very end of the side. So looking at the pattern, it's 1 raised treble back around each of the next 3 stitches. But remember, these 3 stitches, again, these are our half treble stitches, so they're just a little bit shorter, a little bit more dumpier really, and you can't see them as clearly, but they are there. So yarn over hook, insert your hook from the back to the front, round to the back again, around those half treble stitches. Got 1, and 2, and then 1 more, that final stitch there, and 3. There we go. So you can see with an extra set of raised stitches at each end of this side. So there's the first 3, and then there's an extra set of 3 here as well. And so now we're at the corner chain space, and so in the corner chain space we work the usual 1 half treble US half double crochet, followed by 2 chain, and a further half treble US half double crochet, and then repeat exactly what we've just done on that side on each of the following sides. And so I'm just on my final stitch of the round, a raised treble front post double crochet, and there you can see gone all the way along. And so now I'm back at the beginning where we made our beginning 2 chain, and we just do a slip stitch to the top of this beginning 2 chain to join the round, like so. And there we go, that's the end of round 10. And so we turn the work, ready to go on to round 11, and this time we have the right side of the blanket facing us as we crochet round 11. Looking at the pattern at the start of round 11, just like on all our other rounds, we make 2 chain, which counts as the first half treble US half double crochet stitch, and that sits within this set of 3 stitches. So straight away we've got a set of 3 raised stitches to crochet around. So looking at the pattern, it's 1 raised treble front, so front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. And then we have 3 raised treble back stitches. That's your back post double crochet in the US. 1, 2, and 3. And then repeat that 4 times in total until you're at those central stitches again. There's the final repeat. So I've done this 4 times in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're now at our central 4 stitches. But this time in round 11 we're doing 1 raised treble front around each of those 4 stitches. So that's the front post double crochet. So we're doing front raised stitches around each of these middle 4 stitches in round 11. 2, 3, and 4. So there you can see. And really really you can see the fantastic basket weave effect taking shape now. Really looks lovely. And so looking at the pattern, we now just carry on the same format that we've been doing through all these rounds. We're now doing one raised treble back, that's your back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, and then followed by the front raised stitches, the front post double crochet in the US. So there's the 3 back raised stitches, and now the front raised stitches. And repeat that to the end of the side. So I've just repeated everything in the brackets 4 times. Since those 4 central raised stitches here, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of the 3 raised treble back stitches, followed by the 3 raised treble front stitches. But because we added a set of extra raised stitches in round 10, we now have an extra set to go around. So looking at the pattern, we now do 1 raised treble back, that's your back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, and then 3. And then we do, at the end of the side, have 1 final stitch to crochet into, this one here, and we just do an ordinary half treble US half double crochet into that final stitch of the side, and then into the corner chain space we work 1 half treble US half double crochet, 2 chain, and a further half treble US half double crochet. And so now on to the next side. We begin this side with 1 half treble in the first stitch. So there's our first stitch, 1 half treble into the first stitch of the side. And then looking at the pattern, it tells us to do 1 raised treble back, that's back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. So there's the first stitch of the side we've just worked around. Here's the next one. So 1 raised treble back around each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And now looking at the pattern, it tells us to repeat from star 3 times, ending final repeat at star star. So go back to where the star is in the pattern. It's right at the start of round 11, and we're now back into our repeats. So 1 raised treble front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, followed by the back stitches, and we repeat those sets of 6 4 times in total until we get to the middle of the side, and then just repeat exactly what we've done all the way around. So I'm just now at the final corner chain space of round 11, and in there as usual we work the 1 half treble US half double crochet, 2 chain, and then a further half treble US half double crochet. And so this is our final repeat. So in round 11, where it says repeat from star 3 times, ending final repeat at star star, we just have 1 half treble to do in the first stitch of the side, which is here, like so, and then we're at star star. So if you look at the pattern, the last instruction for round 11 is just to do 1 raised treble back, that's the back post double crochet, around each of the next 2 stitches, and that's these 2 stitches here. So just end the round with these 2 stitches, and that gets us back to where we begun. So yarn over hook, insert hook from back to front, round to the back again, and work your raised treble back or your back post double crochet, and do that around each of these final 2 stitches, and that brings us to the beginning of the round. So now we slip stitch into the top of the beginning, 2 chain to close the round. There we go. That's the end of round 11. We've got one more round of these basket weave stitches to do, so we turn the work, ready to move on to round 12. So make sure you have the wrong side facing, and round 12 starts a little bit differently again. Each of these basket weave rounds have started differently because we're increasing the amount of stitches each time. So start with 2 chain, counts as our first half treble, US half double crochet stitch. And now looking at the pattern, it tells us to do 1 raised treble front, that's your front post double crochet, around each of the next 2 stitches. So that's this one here, that's 1, and then this one here, that's 2. And then it tells us to do 1 raised treble back, that's your back post double crochet, around each of the next 2 stitches. So that's these 2 here. Now these are going to look a little bit shorter because they're the half treble US half double crochet stitches from the previous round, but just go round the post of those stitches as we have done all around, like so. And now you're at the corner chain space. And into the corner chain space, we just work the 1 half treble, US half double crochet, 2 chain, and a further half treble, US half double crochet. And so now looking at the pattern, we do 1 raised treble back, that's your back post double crochet, around each of the next 2 stitches. Bearing in mind again, these are the half treble stitches we're going round, so they're a little bit shorter and not as clear to see. That's 1, and that's 2. And now it's 1 raised treble front, that's the front post double crochet, around each of the next 3 stitches, and we're into the sets of 3 now, so it's much clearer to see. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're in the repeated work in brackets where we're doing 3 raised treble back, followed by 3 raised treble front, and so on. Then at the middle, after we've repeated those sets of 3 and 3 4 times, in the middle we do 1 raised treble back around each of these 4 stitches, and then it's 1 raised treble front around these 3, 1 raised treble back around these 3, and repeat that 4 times in total, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll be at the end of the side. So I'm just coming up to the end of the side. Here you can see the middle raised 4 stitches, and since then I've done everything in the brackets 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now looking at the pattern, we do 1 raised treble front, that's your front post double crochet in the US, around each of the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, and 3. And then looking at the pattern again, it now tells us to do 1 raised treble back around each of the next 2 stitches. So that's these shorter half treble stitches, a little bit shorter, but you can still get your hook around the post of those stitches. And so that's 1 raised treble back, back post double crochet, and this is 2, like so. And if you look all the way back, this is our final round of this basket weave stitch, and by alternating all these raised stitches we get this lovely basket weave effect. So now looking at the pattern, into the corner we do the 1 half treble, US half double crochet, 2 chain, and a further half treble, US half double crochet, and it tells us to repeat from star 3 times, ending final repeat at star star. So to go back to where the star is in the pattern, you can see that in round 12, and it's now 1 raised treble back around each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and then 1 raised treble front around each of the next 3, and then you've got the work in brackets and so on. So carry on following the pattern to the end of the round. So I'm just coming up to the end of the side of our final side of round 12. Just got these 3 final raised treble back. That's the back post double crochet in the US stitches to do. 1, 2, and then 3. And if you look at the pattern, we're now at star star. So we've repeated everything in the brackets 4 times since those central 4 stitches. So there's the central 4 stitches, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, everything in the bracket 4 times. We're now at star star, and if you look at the pattern, it simply tells us now to work a slip stitch into the top of the beginning 2 chain, the 2 chain we made at the very start of the round, working a slip stitch into there to close the round, and then we fasten off. So I fastened off, and if you now turn the work so the right side is facing, you can now see all the beautiful basket weave rounds that we've done. So 6 rounds in total on our picnic on the beach blanket, rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now we have this really lovely basket weave stitch going all the way around. Such a lovely textured stitch and absolutely essential for our picnic on the beach. So I hope you found the tutorial helpful. Thanks for watching.